Hi, welcome to the last video in this series. Since this is the last one of 16, my kids here have challenged me to include as many iconic vines and memes as references as we try to recap this entire series. Isn't that right?
Let's try not to laugh the whole time.
So, without further ado, we're looking back on the entire 16-part series, so there's 16 reminders of what we're supposed to do and 16 iconic vines and memes to go along with it. If you recall from the beginning, this is a 16-part series corresponding to a 16-week semester and 16 chapters in my book. I divided those 16 weeks up into 4 modules consisting of 4 weeks each. So let's start this final wrap-up by revisiting each of those parts and seeing how they all fit together. Module 1, or parts 1 through 4, focus primarily on building awareness. We kick things off by exploring the nature of mindfulness and its opposite, mindlessness. Squirrel! Then we started practicing activities to help us develop mindfulness in our daily lives, such as our walks to nowhere and of course the good old red light challenge. Part 3 had us examine our listening styles and try to identify which styles are needed in various situations so that we can become better listeners to the people we love. We also learned to pick the right one at the right time so that we don't end up with 3 Ps of our own. Finally, in part 4, we examined why it's so important to take the time to be alone once in a while. Because remember, if we can't be alone with ourselves, how can we expect anyone else to want to be alone with us either?
If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
To end that first module, we did what's called a communication audit. We used that as a means to try to identify various issues or areas for improvement that we'd like to work on later.
I can't believe you've done this.
Module 2, or parts 5 through 8, had us taking a look at resilience, or our ability to bounce back from some of life's many challenges. Part 5 had us looking at the blind spot, which is not only one of the most difficult activities in the series, but also one of the most powerful. Even though it is so very uncomfortable, this is one of the activities that I recommend that you do on a regular basis, particularly with the ones that you love or the ones that you spend the most time with.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
In part 6, we took a look at the spotlight effect, which is our tendency to overestimate the amount of time that other people spend thinking about us. To challenge this, we push the limits of our comfort zones by getting a little bit crazy. Then in part 7, we took some of that newfound confidence and we used that to explore the concept of seeking forgiveness and what that does for our sense of accountability.
I spilled lipstick in your Valentino bag.
Oh, you spilled lipstick in my bag!
Part 8, the last part of Module 2, was when we explored vulnerability, the dreaded V word, which is ultimately at the core of what it means to be resilient.
Happy birthday, Raven!
We then wrapped up that second module by selecting one issue from that communication audit and looking at how vulnerability and accountability play a part in trying to address that issue.
I do that.
In Module 3, or parts 9 through 12, we left the dark side behind and we started looking at savoring. Savoring's my favorite.
I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite.
Part 9 was when we first explored how savoring and mindful presence are connected with one another.
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
In part 10, we started the practice of everyday vacations so that we could isolate and analyze the concepts of reminiscence, savoring, and anticipation.
Look at all those chickens!
Part 11 is where we kicked off our gratitude practice.
The avocado!
Then in part 12, we examined how appreciation helps shape our perceptions.
Anything for you, Beyonce?
Then to wrap up Module 3, we dug up that issue that we chose back in part 8 and applied mindfulness, savoring, and gratitude to that issue as a means of addressing it by shifting our perceptions.
So you just gonna bring me a birthday gift on my birthday to my birthday party on my birthday with a birthday gift?
Happy birthday.
During this fourth and final module, in parts 13 through 16, we've introduced and explored quite a few tools to keep us working on developing lasting and meaningful relationships. In part 13, we took a look at the differences between humility and humiliation. In part 14, we looked at the concepts of appreciative inquiry and positive deviance, and we put this into practice by picking a fight with our routine.
Can I get a waffle?
Part 15 had us practice the act of selfless generosity as a means of not only improving our own emotional states, but the emotional well-being of the people around us.
Merry Crisis! Merry Chrysler!
Then in our final section, we introduced the concept of servant leadership and its 10 characteristics.
Look at this stuff!
And now, it's time to pull all of this together, so here we are. The ball is in your court now. You have all the tools you need to develop greater self-awareness, stronger resilience, learn to savor the moment more fully, and connect with others on a deeper, more meaningful level. Just because this series or this class is over doesn't mean that's the end, because this is really just the beginning. You've applied these tools to an interpersonal issue that you chose to work on. But you can take these tools and you can apply them to just about any issue you encounter, even going forward. I guarantee you that in doing so, you'll find that it is truly life-changing. Thank you for taking part in this series. I hope that these tools have given you a new way of looking at life, a new way of interacting with others, and a new way of learning to control your own thought process. One last time, if you like where we're headed, like this video, subscribe for more communication and leadership related content, and I hope to see you next time.
That was the last. Don't let go! Don't let go! I'm dying!